Ladies, hello. You know you're in the right profession when you're excited to come back to work. You guys are like, who are you? Why are you so excited to be here? I just took 2 weeks off, and I'm so excited to be back. And it was nice to be excited to come back to work and to like see the girls and talk with you. So, anyways, anyone familiar with the word Myelin? I know one of you know it. Ever heard of it before?
Yeah, myelin sheath.
Yes, who said that? Yes, what's a myelin sheath?
It's the surrounding of the axon
On the nerve?
nerve cells.
Yes. And what does it do?
It sends a signal.
Yes, thank you. What do you major in?
Physiology.
Physiology, there you go. Okay. What is this thing called myelin? Myelin is this surrounding sheath, like a layer, almost like a layer of cloth or whatever, some sort of covering around our nerve cells. And like Karen, is that your name? Yael. And like Yael said, right? It sends signals. It sends signals to our brains. When does it send signals? When we want to do something. And the more signals, I'll explain to you why we're discussing this in a minute. This is not a science class, right? The more signals that we send, the more myelin surrounds that nerve, okay? Look, there's the picture. You have the picture on the back, right? So, there wasn't so much ink, okay? But basically, this is the thing called myelin. Sorry, this is the thing called our nerve, okay? Then you have this thing called myelin that surrounds it. And every time I do an action, more myelin surrounds it. You guys following me? Yeah? More myelin surrounds it, okay? This is from a book called The Talon Code by Daniel Coyle. I thought it was brilliant. Why are we speaking about this? Before I ask why we're speaking about this, what would be the point of more myelin constantly surrounding a nerve ending every time we send a certain signal? What does that do? Faster? Yeah, what was the first thing you said? It sends signals and it makes it faster, right? Let me give you an example. My daughter, I have 2 really cute daughters, Chaviva and Ahava, and Ahava now is 1.5 years. She's really cute. It's like such a fun stage. She finally stand up to her big sister. So Ahava is 1.5 years. 6 months ago, I said to her, Ahava, where's your nose? What does she do? I go like this. Ahava, where's your nose? Right? And I go like this. What does she do? She goes like this, right? Next day, Ahava, where's your nose? Right? 2 months later, Ahava, where's your nose? Today I say, Ahava, where's your nose? No. Actually, she goes like this, like nose, okay? Where's your nose? Nose. What does that do? Anytime she did this, interrupt me please if I'm not being clear or if you just have any comments or questions. Anytime she practiced, where is your nose? She didn't get it right the first time, but this action, hand to face, myelin surrounded it. Now she had more strength. Now she had faster ability, faster movement. Next time she was able to go here, then she was able to go here, then she was able to go here. Then she found, now, I have a where's your nose here, I have a where's your nose here, I have it right away without even thinking twice about it. That's how we are all able to do the motions that we're able to do, right? Why are we speaking about this? Well, the reason why Daniel Coyle is speaking about this, he believes this is the talent basically part, the science part of talent. I'm bringing this in when we're speaking about how does a person develop skill, okay? Everyone thinks that, many people think that skill, or you can transfer that word to talent, whatever, is something she's born with. She's just born with it, I don't have. She's an eloquent speaker, I'm just not. She was just born skinny, I'm just born fat, right? Yes, we all do have, we're not like, communists, we're all born exactly the same, right? Of course not. We all have different natures, we all have different abilities. However, When it comes to developing a talent, when it comes to developing a skill, it can be anything from being a dancer to knowing how to cook, to knowing how to speak, to whatever it is, right? To being health conscious. There's someone I know who was like completely, are all phones off the desk by the way? Yeah, thank you, right? To being like, she just ate whatever she wanted, right? And she, whatever. Very interesting lifestyle. Now she's like a health freak. How is she able to do that? How are people able to do this? It's not something that just comes while you are just born with it. There are very few unique individuals who are just born like that. I remember when I took writer's class in college, you just assume a writer, at least I assume, an author just sits down, right? Tell me, like, do you think like how do you think a book is made? Kind of just like sit down, is at least what I thought, and like inspiration just like she gets a download and it's just like types. Is that what you think? No, like, that's what I thought. Right? Like how else? No? Who thinks like that? Who's awake because it's so early in the morning? Who's listening? You're listening? Sabrina's, yeah. We got 3 here. All right, we need 1 more to make it a majority. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you got my back. Yeah. Who thinks like you usually think that, no? Like to have that mass, I remember my writing teacher telling us, she goes, for every 2 pieces of paper that a good author comes out with, she throws out 3, right? It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step backward. And I'm like, really? Right? Because the fact that I was trying to write an essay, I was trying to write a fiction story, I was trying to write some sort of historical piece of work for my writing class, the fact that I was trying to write that, and it didn't just come down, I'm like, oh, see, I'm not a writer. And what is this part of science telling us? That you need to do that action in order to develop that. Look on this sheet, please. It says source 1. Okay, who could read number 1?
A righteous man falls 7 times and gets up.
Okay, good. And number 2, thank you. Read number 2 also. Right, it says, Sheva yipal tzadik v'kam. That's what it says in Mishlei. A righteous person falls 7 times and gets up. Let me interrupt you for a moment. What do most people think that means, Noah? A righteous person falls 7 times and gets up. Why is he so righteous?
Because he keeps getting up.
He keeps getting up, guys. Like, he's a doer. He's focusing on the positive. I fell down, I scraped my knees, but get up, right? That's what makes him a tzaddik. He falls 7 times and he gets up. You want to read it, Sabrina?
The wisest person of all men said, a righteous person falls 7 times and then gets up. The foolish think that his intention is that even though he fell 7 times, he still got up. But the wise people know very well that the intention of Shlomo HaMelech was to teach that the essence of the righteous one's getting up is his 7 falls.
Good. Elisheva, what does that mean in your own words? What's Rav Hutner saying?
That some people are good leaders, so they do it so they show example.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Like he was showing examples, so he's a good leader.
He's showing examples of who's a good leader, but what's his main point? Not giving up. Ellie, what's he saying? What's his main point? But the wise people know very well. Sabrina?
The point is the following.
Thank you. The point is the following. Sheva yipal tzadik v'kam. A wise person falls 7 times and gets up. What's a partner saying? He's saying, you think when Shlomo HaMelech wrote this, he was talking about who is a righteous person? Someone who, even though he falls, he gets up. He goes, that's speaking about the fools almost. Like the fool, not speaking about the fools, sorry, the fools think that. The fools think that that's what Shlomo HaMelech was talking about. What makes him righteous? The fact that he gets up. He's saying, it's not the fact that he got up that makes him righteous, says Sabrina. It's the fact that he fell. Right? Struggle is not, oh, it's inevitable. Struggle's something unnecessary, but when we do it, fine, just make the best of it, stay positive, right? Struggle is a biological requirement. Says Shlomo HaMelech, says Rav Hutner, Sheva yipal tzadik v'kam, a righteous person falls 7 times and gets up. What makes him righteous? Not the fact that he got up, of course he's going to get up, but you're just stay on the floor all day, right? It's the fact that he fell. What does that mean? It's the fact that he struggled. It's the fact that my daughter went like this so many times that she finally got here, right? It's the fact that I've eaten so much junk food, whatever, it's true, right? So much junk food so many times, and I've gotten a headache so many times, and I'm like, I'm just not going to do it anymore. It's not worth it. It's the fact when you practice something so many times, so many things we do are just habits. There's food in front of us. So, of course, you have to take a cookie, right? Are you hungry? Well, I didn't really think about it. It's just a habit that we have, right? The more we do a certain action, and ladies, this class can change your life. It can change your life. The more we do a certain action, the more we do something, we're just regulating our body. As Eckhart Tolle says it, like so many of us, majority of the world is running on unconscious. Like we're kind of just functioning in the world, but we're not living consciously, right? So much of what we do is just habit. I'm not really thinking about it. But the more times that I sit at a table and there is Noah's apple or Sabrina's oatmeal. Is that oatmeal? Sabrina, I'm traumatized from oatmeal. Ask me about my childhood traumas after class. Right? Or we'll go with apple. Or Noah's apple in front of me, and I'm like, green apple, I really like that. You know what, Abigail, you're not that hungry. Like, I reach for the apple, I'm not that hungry. I'm not. In my mind, in my brain, something just went off, I withheld myself, right? Myelin went around that. I was about to take it, something just happened, and now somewhere in my psyche, somewhere in my subconscious, something went off, I don't need that apple, okay? I sit down again the next day, I want the apple, right? No, I didn't take it. And you just train yourself. Milchama, what does milchama mean? Fight, it means war, to go to war. Milchama, going to war, fighting, the battle that we're talking about, the battle it's midnight and you have an assignment due for your professor at 9 o'clock in the morning and you have writer's block. That battle, I just can't write it. The battle of, it's my dream, I've always wanted to be a dancer, but I just keep tripping over my own toes. My nisayon, my challenge in life is food, I can never get past it. I've just settled with that, right? I just settled with the fact that my mom's overweight, my grandma's overweight, my great-great, we even have a tradition that my great-great-great-grandma from 10 generations ago is also overweight. I'm just overweight, that's just the way that I am, right? Milchama, that battle to be the dancer, that battle to get out of our shell, to get out of our inhibitions, right? I really just want to speak to that teacher, but I don't know if he meets with girls, or I don't know what do I even have to talk to him about, or that guy looks really nice, maybe I'll just go say hi to him. No, but who says hi? And in Israel, people either you yell at them, or else you just don't say anything, what am I good, right? That milchama, that battle is obviously the same words as lechem, which means bread, sustenance, right? The battles, what those challenges do for us, every challenge that we have, we tend to think, I'm speaking to myself, that when we have challenges, they're kind of like, I need to get that out of the way. I kind of just need to move that out of the way in order to get to my destination, right? Who thinks like that? A lot of people, right? Right? Is this making sense to you what I'm saying? Right? We tend to think that I tripped, so that just means I kind of need to just get that out of the way and then I can be successful. That quote that life is what happens to us when we're busy making other plans, right? Life is this, right? Not if I had different parents, then I would have this life. I'd be better. If I grew up with a wealthier family dynamics, right? More money, I'd be this. No, life is life. We have this battle called life, and that is what creates us. A big picture life, even smaller picture, our habits, the talents, the skills that we want to develop. I want to go on to this sheet. Number 3, Ellie.
The purpose of falling is the elevation that comes after.
Tachlis hayarida hi ha'aliyah. The purpose, says the Baal Shem Tov, of falling, right, is the elevation that comes after. What does that mean? Not you're falling in order to get up. He's saying, and this usually happens, right? Once you hit rock bottom, right, there's no place to go but up. In general, you have, I'm sure many of you even have stories yourself, what got me to seminary? Well, I was my boyfriend just dumped me. I thought I was going to marry him, and then he just dumped me. And then you had some sort of really big falling before, maybe I'll just check out, this learning program in Israel. Or you went through, you just fell, whatever. Give me examples. I'm hearing my voice too much.
Oh, so you're trying to run a marathon and you get 100 kilometers in, you stop it. 100 kilometers is a long time.
That's a really long time. Yeah, okay.
And then you just die. Metaphorically, fall from exhaustion. And you're no, you're not a marathon. And then 4 months later, you're running a marathon. Is that like, did you want an example?
Yeah, I want an example. And then, so what was it? Why are you running the marathon again?
You want examples like of someone dropping everything and their like life path?
Any example to what we are talking about? I'm not looking for a specific answer. You have something.
Someone going along life, finishing university, getting a job, and then realizing they don't know anything about Judaism and goes to Israel and learns about Judaism just by chance, just by like meeting someone who knows someone who.
Right? It's like, how'd you get here? Well, we have Navy girls a lot, and we also have Machon Yaakov, Machon Shlomo guy. It's like a Baal Tshuva yeshiva here, and Rivka Didio just got engaged to Machon Shlomo guy. And every time we have them, every time I ask them, right, like, so how'd you get here? Their answer is like, you want a short version or the long version? I'm like, we have time, we'll go for both, right? Like, there's this whole backstory. It doesn't usually happen that, like, it just kind of, the path was cleared. We'll explain why that's true. Why usually people who reach the highest successes came from struggles. We're going to speak about that, God willing, today. Okay, Ein Tzaddik Ba'aretz, number 4. Just going through quite a few sources, and then we'll speak, right? Ein Tzaddik Ba'aretz, Asher Asa Tov Lo Yachta. There's no tzaddik in the world who has done good. Asher Asa Tov, Tov means good. The Aretz, land. There's no tzaddik in the world, in the land, in this country who's done good, but didn't sin. What does that mean based on what we were talking about? Everyone makes mistakes, but give me more than that, based on what we're talking about. It's more than just everyone makes a mistake. Yeah.
Everyone can make mistakes and fall, but only people who are righteous can learn from those mistakes and become a better person.
Yes, that's true also. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, righteousness comes from sinning.
Yes, thank you. What the three of you said is true, but that's the answer that is based on what we are talking about. What makes him unsettled? Listen, don't walk out of this class saying, Mrs. Gersht said I should do all of these averas, all of these sins, that way I'll be a holy Rebbetzin. That's not what I'm saying. But what does this mean when it says it in Koheles, right? That there's no righteous person who's done good and hasn't sinned? You're right that it's because he's righteous because he learned from his sins, but it means in order for you to be a tzaddik, in order for you to be a righteous person, it is impossible unless you messed up, right? Messing up is a biological requirement. We call it messing up, but it's basically like practice, right? What does Thomas Edison, right, the famous quote, he invented the light bulb right after like 400 times of trying. He's like, I didn't fail 400 times, I just learned 400 times it didn't work, right? If you're a tzaddik, that means you messed up, right? Who is the best person to speak to addicts? Someone who's an addict themselves. Someone who's acting up but got out of it, right? Right? Who got out of it. If you are a righteous person, it is impossible you built yourself out of what? Just kind of being, fed on a silver platter your entire life. Okay, next one. Okay, it says in the Gemara, it says,
If one will say to you, I have exerted myself and not found, do not believe him. If one will say, I have not exerted myself and have found, do not believe him. But if he will say, I have exerted myself and have found, then believe him.
Okay, what is it? So someone say that in your own words.
Like, if you just said that you didn't try to study for a test and then you did really, really well, then you're not supposed to believe that individual. But whereas if you tried really hard, you studied really hard, and were successful, and you're not bragging about it, perhaps that's when you should have faith in someone.
Yes, right? It's saying, if someone says to you, Yagati, I tried hard, velo matati, but I didn't find, right? But I wasn't successful. I'll tell me, don't believe him, right? I tried so hard. You have to be careful what you teach your kids. I always teach my daughter, just something, a catchphrase that just happened to catch on at home. If you try hard, you succeed, right? Like, whatever. Mommy, can you push this chair for me? Javier, push the chair. I did. Did you try hard enough? If you try hard, you succeed, right? So a few weeks ago, she asked me, she said, she lost her shoes. And she said, Mommy, could you find my shoes for me? And I said, Chaviva, I looked for them, I can't find them. And she said, Mommy, look for my shoes. And I said, Chaviva, I tried it, I couldn't find it. She goes, well, if you try hard, you succeed. So I said, you're right. You're right. Let's go look for your shoes. And we found our shoes. I'm like, be careful what you say. I'm happy that came out, right? But why did I say that? All right. Right. I tried really hard. She's 3. I tried really hard, but I didn't find. Don't believe him. It's obviously not talking about a pair of shoes, okay? It's talking about a bigger picture. Or someone said, I didn't try hard at all, right? But somehow I found it, right? Only if I'll tell me, don't believe. Someone said, Yagati umatzati as ta'ami, then believe him. I tried hard and I succeeded, then believe him. Why? That goes hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other, right? Why are we speaking about this? Why are we speaking about this in Neve? Why are we speaking about this in Gesher? What does that have to do with your lives? It's like a random class.
We're gonna fail a lot.
Because we're going to fail a lot, right? We had, and so what?
But it's what we do with it that really counts.
Yes. It's what we do with the falling that really counts. What do you mean?
Like, there's always something to be learned from it.
Good. There's always something to be learned by it. More, yeah.
Because it's like a lower level, a lot of us may think like, oh, at least me.
What's a lower level?
Like Gesher, it's like not the chapter, like Akiva or whatever. But
Okay.
like we not all of us may be like at the same level or whatever with Judaism, but what I'm trying to get to, it's like we might get like discouraged and like not want to do certain things because we're feeling down, but it's those feelings of being down that really can get you where you want.
That really propel you up. Nice. It happens to be, it's not unique to Gesher. I mean, this class, it's a universal class, so it's true for everyone. But because you're both saying kind of similar things, right? Because we're falling, right? Because we know, like, okay, fine, I'm about to go home, right? Like, I know what my parents are how they're gonna react to me. So let's have this like prep class before we go. Any other ideas? I'm looking for one step higher.
Relating to the passage we just read.
No, relating to this class in general. Why am I speaking about this? It seems kind of out of nowhere.
It's so relevant.
It's so
relevant.
It's so relevant. It has to do with every part of your life. More, what the two of you said is correct, right? I'm going to fail, right? We spoke about, I don't know if you guys were here, we had a class about the Yitzchak. If you didn't have it, we'll have it again, right? We spoke about, that was more for that class, about life is a constant battle. Adam la'ama yulad, we're here, the Mysticism says, right? The Ramchal, the path of the just, says, everyone was placed in the midst of a fierce battle, right? That was more for that class. Why am I speaking about this? It's more than just learning from the mistakes. This is so empowering. I'll literally give you an example, okay? For me, I like, my whole family's like it. I'm one of 11. We all love candy. We just love candy, okay? Maybe it's 'cause we were deprived when we were kids, I don't know. We love candy. Like, give me like a box of Gushers. I just love Gushers. Anyone else like this? Yes. Oh, okay, nice. Hook a sister up, right? So like, give me a box of Gushers. Give me Fruit Loop. Like the Israeli candy is like not my. I'm like very like sour sticks. Like that's my genre. Like the first date with my husband. Second date with my husband, he said, "Are you a chocolate person or are you a candy person?" I'm like, candy person, right? So like that was very clear. So I love candy. So I'll give you a very real time example. This past Shabbat, and the reason why I don't have it, why I don't want it, is not because of weight. Fortunately or unfortunately, it's not because of weight. It's more because I get headaches. It's not food. Like my daughter always says to me, "What do you mean it's not food?" Right? Because whenever she eats something, I'm like, "Oh, it's not really food," but like, okay. She's like, "It's food, mommy," right? It's not food, so it actually gives me like the whole process. It just gives me a headache. I'm not a functioning person when I eat it. So this past Shabbat, right? I'm like, I really don't want to have it. Why? The higher me knows, the rest of Shabbat will be affected if you have this chocolate cake, right? And so I'm sitting there at the table, and I want the chocolate cake. And I'm having this battle back and forth that we all have in our heads when we see that little piece of cake, right? And I'm thinking that more than should I have it, should I not have it, this moment of battle, more than it was a moment of battle, it was a moment of intense growth. What do I mean? Not in a fluffy way. I knew that I was giving you guys this class this week, and I only teach what I love, so it's like great. Basically, just like speak all day about things that you love and inspire you. And I was telling my husband in that moment of this is exactly what I'm talking about. And if I don't have this piece of chocolate cake right now, that means the next time I don't have it, the next time it's placed in front of me, it will be a teensy bit easier for me to, it was actually chocolate mint thins, that's what it was, the chocolate mint thins. You know those things, right? Right after it, those, right? So, you all know what I'm talking about? Okay, this is why you teach girls. Right? So chocolate mint thins, right? And why, more than just like, should I have it, should I not? It was such an empowering moment. More than the obstacles, more than the battle is there, just the, don't worry, you'll mess up, but you'll learn from it. It's more than that. It's almost exciting. It's thrilling, right? This is what differentiates us from animals. I have the ability to choose, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, these look good. And it's Shabbos, and I didn't have junk food the whole week, and all these like things that we go through our mind all the time. And I'm like, I'm not going to have it. Why? Why? Because the moment I said I'm not going to have it, I just put one more layer around that nerve ending, around that nerve that sends this signal to my mind, I'm not going to grab that chocolate mint and be after 8, right? And I knew in that moment, you're following me, right? I knew in that moment, if I take that chocolate, I just sent one more layer around that nerve saying, when I see chocolate, I take the chocolate, okay? So when I'm asking, where is this coming in? Why am I telling this class? You're right, it's because we need to learn from our mistakes, but more than that, with this principle, this is literally a life principle in mind, all of your moments of battle are moments of empowerment. All of your moments of falling are literally, not figuratively, are literally stumbling blocks, right? We said falling and messing up, the struggle is a biological requirement to acquire skill or talent. It's necessary, okay? Anders Ericsson, he is a university professor. Anyone familiar with his name? He basically studied all of the greats in all of the fields. I'm sure you've heard this before. I used to know it was from him. All of the greats in all of the fields. What makes them great? What was the common denominator? They're Jewish. I like it. So what's the common denominator in all of these fields? The greats, the practice of 10,000 hours. A great teacher, not just 10,000 hours of teaching. I'm teaching the same syllabus year after year. And look, I sat 10,000 hours and I taught 10,000 hours, so how come I'm not the best teacher yet? Right, the best teacher that I could be? Because it was 10,000 hours of just sitting there, the same material. You didn't critique yourself. You didn't get feedback. You didn't fix what needs to be fixed, right? 10,000 hours of concentrated, deliberate practice. That's what, and this is the whole 10,000 hour rule. I'm sure you've heard of it before. 10,000 hours, you need 10,000 hours. How many days is it? I once did the math, I forget. A lot. So, I'm sure, what? I mean, let's be realistic. And even 8 hours a day is like really far. I think it's about basically 10 years of practice. I think it's basically 10 years of practice. So, if you do it like 5 hours, something like that. 10,000 hours. Anders Ericsson said, the greatest guitar players, who are the greats, they have not practiced for less than 10,000 hours. The greatest dancers, they have not practiced for less than 10,000 hours. Do you know who Max Martin is? You do? Yes, who is he?
Is he an artist?
Yes, a music artist, right? Max Martin is basically the writer of every popular song you know ever, right? He's written for Rihanna, Ariana Grande, Usher, Pink, One Direction, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, and all of their hit songs. Google Max Martin songs. And you can even go on YouTube. He has like a 40-minute playlist of like 2-minute clips of his songs. Every famous song you know, he's written. He's very rich. He says that he spends minimum 10 hours a day, a week straight, writing a 3-minute song. Right? Right? Minimum 10 hours a day for a week straight writing a 3-minute song. It's a 3-minute song. And sometimes music artists really do have that, just like that download. The song just comes to them. My husband's a music artist. He'll randomly come home, say, wait, don't say anything to me. And then, not like that, but in nicer words, and say, let me just record it before I forget. And a whole song will come out that just came to him while he was on the bus, okay? And this guy who has written for all of these, right, these top celebrities, you think that it just comes to him, right? Minimum 10,000 hours. Sorry, 10,000 hour rule. Minimum 10 hours a day for a week straight for a 3-minute clip. This book that I told you I was reading by Daniel Coyle called the Talon Code. So he went to all of these talent hotspots to see what exactly is it that makes people great. That's what people are trying to figure out, right? Like, I want to be great, so what are you doing? He found something interesting. What do you think these places look like? When you go, he went to, I forget the place, but somewhere in Russia, the greatest tennis academy. And he went to the big thing in Texas, this violin academy, like where they produce the tops, the place where they produce Jessica Simpson, or for the music singing, right? Voice lessons, all right? Somewhere in Texas, they went there. And he went to all the hot spots. What do you think these places that produce these greats look like? Beautiful, right? Like
Huge and like top of the line.
I would think that. Who thinks yes? Small little thing, really?
Because they're not investing in the place where kids are investing in the people.
Why can't you do both?
Well, I just think from my personal work perspective, I work for a nonprofit, and we never invest in our building. You never invest in what it looks like. You look at the quality of care of the client that comes in. And if you're looking at the client, or the talented individual, you want to provide them the best opportunities. You want to pay the best teachers. And the best
Meaning invest your money in the person, not in the aesthetics, because you only have a limited budget, so it has to go somewhere.
For like high level sports, like I was doing, you need the best of the best equipment, facilities, and then you bring the best athletes. But you need top of the line facilities.
I would think that also. Noah, what do you think? Top of the line facilities also, right? Ellie? Top of the line? Top of the line also? I thought that also. He says surprisingly, almost every place, again, these are before the people were great, almost every place that he went to was basically small, rugged, worn out places, right? This one place he went to was for, I think it was the Violin Academy. He said it was in the middle of this, like, at the end of a forest somewhere in this, like, hick place, right? And when he went to one place, he's like, this is weird. Like, I'm sure I came to the right place. Then he went to the second place, and he saw it was the same thing also. He said, what's the reason? When someone comes in, I agree also, it makes sense that you need the best equipment.
Talking about in the beginning.
I'm talking about before they're great. Before, what made them great? Who is this teacher that made this person great? Who made Michael Jordan, right? Hashem, but who are the messengers, right? What?
Now he wasn't accepted to his
Yes.
high school basketball.
Michael Jordan has, like, the most beautiful, do I have in the sheet? Did I put quotes here?
About falling, he definitely fell.
Not here. I have so many quotes of Michael Jordan. He has so many inspiring quotes, like something to the extent of, like, there are, well, he's number 23, but there are like 23 winning game shots that I've missed. No, sorry, 23 winning game shots that I missed, right? 900 shots in my career that I've missed, and this time that I let down, and that's why I'm successful, right? And he basically lists, like, all the times that, right? Can you imagine, like, being in the, I remember Vince Carter once, for the Toronto, Canadian, right? For the Toronto Raptors, he had that, like, miss that one shot that will get them into the playoffs. It was the final game before the playoffs. And he missed the shot on the buzzer, right? And Michael Jordan's like, I missed that 23 times, and I missed this 900 times, and that's why I'm successful. So he said, what's Daniel Coyle saying? He's saying, surprisingly, all the places that he went to were kind of rugged and worn out. Why? Because when someone enters a place or a facility, that is all plush and nice green grass and great AC in the room. That's why they didn't have AC in the rooms, by the way, to get you to like work hard, right? And like nice facilities. It sends the subconscious a message that you don't have to work hard, right? It's going to be handed to you. And the moment they entered a place that they're going to have to, they kind of see like, well, if you want to make something of yourself, you got to actually make something of yourself. Then they work much harder, they invest much more, they put much more into it. We're going to finish off now, but next class I want to, today's Wednesday, next week. Next class I want to speak about an example of Brazil, right? Brazil is like the hot spot for soccer, right? For soccer. It didn't used to be that, right? In the 1940s, 1950s, it wasn't like that. Because of the economy, because of the climate, it wasn't like that. And then there was this boy named Pele, this 11-year-old boy. There's the 17-year-old boy. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Oh, really? So he was in he changed the whole dynamic. And how do Brazilians practice soccer? We're going to explain it next week, right? But it's not with a regular soccer ball. They are the place for soccer, right? It's not with a regular soccer ball. They don't practice on grass fields, and they don't practice in these huge facilities. They play with a small, hard ball that doesn't bounce, and they play on cement, right? And they're poor. They're not rich, right? Again, why? We'll speak about this next class, but this will finish. When you are practicing with a heavy ball, right? Then when you get to the actual Olympics, or when you get to the actual field of this nice green grass, you kick that ball, it's 50 times more easier. But when you are practicing, right? The more you practice, the harder the practice is, the better you become. The average Brazilian soccer player spends 20 hours practicing soccer a week versus the American who spend 5 hours a week. 5 hours a week on soccer. So is it, I'm not from Brazil, so I'm not good at soccer? It's not hereditary. I'm a good soccer player because my mother's a good soccer player. It's not hereditary, right? And we're going to speak next week about the hot spots. When you see these places, why are there in the 15th century? That was the Renaissance, this boom of artists. Was it just like it was unbelievable? There was some grace, divine providence here that made all these incredible Da Vinci and Donatello, all these great artists come from that time period? Right? They were all just born then. Right? Obviously, now we'll discuss why next class. Have a wonderful day, ladies.